Chapter 6 Alphabet Google. Alphabet, the parent company of Google, has enjoyed a dominant position in the marketplace for nearly 2 decades now. Eric Schmidt, who was a top executive at Alphabet for much of its existence, opined many years ago that, quote, "Data is the new oil." By this, he meant that digital information is as valuable and central to the economy today as petroleum was to the economy of previous centuries. A large percentage of the population uses many applications owned by Alphabet, such as Google Search, Google Maps, YouTube, Gmail, and so on, without appreciating the degree to which our experiences on many of these applications are being manipulated. For instance, 70% of videos recommended to YouTube users are based on an algorithm, a recipe, that has tracked and analyzed the previous behavior of the user, enabling YouTube subsequently to offer up video clips that it believes will keep the user on the platform. Perhaps that doesn't bother you, so let me say this. It is a provable statement of fact that we are being subtly fooled by Google Search and other websites which deliver personalized, deliberately filtered information, even as we assume we are conducting an independent search and getting honest results. This is not my opinion, but rather the result of in-depth studies conducted by Dr. Robert Epstein, senior research psychologist at the American Institute for Behavioral Research and Technology. Dr. Epstein is the former editor-in-chief of Psychology Today and the founder and director emeritus of the Cambridge Center for Behavioral Studies in Massachusetts. Dr. Epstein points out that Alphabet has been made rich because there has been no real competition in the area of internet search for 20 years now, since Google cornered the market. Alphabet has an enormous advantage over competitors, which it abuses. Alphabet Google manipulates search results to a profound degree. For instance, you are probably familiar with Google's autocomplete feature that kicks in as soon as you type the first letter into the search bar, and you are automatically provided with a list of possible search topics, as if to suggest that these particular topics are the most popular. Many users instantly accept that these search phrases are ones they should be interested in. This is just one technique used by Alphabet to filter your experience without your knowledge. Overall, Dr. Epstein lists 3 significant problem areas with Alphabet's behavior. The first problem is surveillance. In Alphabet's business model, the internet-related behavior of users is tracked, the resulting data is packaged and saved and sold to other companies, and thus users become products delivered to vendors. So, Alphabet is not working for you, and you are not its customer, even though you believe you are utilizing it as a service. You are really just a token in this transaction used by Alphabet to power its economy. The second problem is censorship. Various power centers want to hide certain information from the public or focus the public's attention on something in particular, and Alphabet does their bidding by facilitating this. For instance, it censors on behalf of the government. Google's trust and safety team is managed by 3, quote, former CIA agents who monitor and control what is claimed to be misinformation and hate speech. Most often, such speech is merely verifiable fact that happens to be inconvenient to corporate interests. The third problem is manipulation. Users assume they are having a spontaneous and self-driven experience while using Google and its sibling products, and they assume their internet searches are yielding simply the most relevant facts and information. But Alphabet subtly curates the online universe of each user behind the scenes, deciding for the user what he or she will see based on prior user data and other factors, regardless of what he or she intended to look for by typing specific words into the search engine. For instance, a particular Google user might be interested to learn more about what a public figure named XYZ says about a certain topic. If public figure XYZ is disliked by vested interests connected to Google, the user's search attempt inside Google may pull up only negative articles about that public figure, giving the user a false impression. Dr. Epstein oversees a national monitoring system that records and saves the, quote, ephemeral experiences, or content that Alphabet displays to users when they conduct a Google search. Your ephemeral experiences, providing you with rank-ordered results, apparently based on your key search terms, will look different from mine because this process is tailored individually based on what the company already knows about us. Alphabet itself does not appear to store ephemeral experiences, so it is likely that no one would know about the discrepancies in this type of content. In other words, that your results might look different from mine, even if we conducted an identical search, were it not for Dr. Epstein's monitoring system, which aggregates and analyzes and saves this information on behalf of a large number of volunteers that have opted in to this type of surveillance by his organization. Through the national monitoring system that he oversees, Dr. Epstein has discovered consequential and alarming ways that Alphabet manipulates citizens on a mass scale. For instance, he found that Alphabet secretly implemented a smear campaign against U.S. Democratic politician Elizabeth Warren after she began advocating for the breakup of the larger Alphabet organization into its smaller component parts like Google, YouTube, and so on, in order to mitigate against monopolistic behavior. Alphabet attempted to make Warren unpopular within her progressive or liberal constituency by automatically directing those users to articles and video clips that amounted to, get this, far-right criticisms of Warren, hoping that this false impression would damage her popularity, and that if, as a consequence, she were to fail to be reelected to her prominent Senate position, her advocacy in the area of consumer protection would have less influence, and Alphabet would be rid of a pesky critic. Just a disclaimer, I am nonpartisan. I don't seek to endorse or criticize any politician or political party. I am just reporting to you facts that happen to have something to do with political realities and current events that we are all at least somewhat familiar with in the modern age. When Bobby Kennedy Jr. was attempting to challenge Joe Biden for the 2024 Democratic presidential nomination, Alphabet targeted its Democratic-leaning users with a smear campaign of Kennedy to paint him as a conspiracy theorist or charlatan. This smear has actually followed Kennedy around for years, planted by vested interests to discredit his criticisms. But why did Alphabet renew the smear in the run-up to the 2024 U.S. presidential election? Likely primarily because Kennedy promised to ban pharmaceutical ads on his first day in the White House should he win the presidential race. Given that Alphabet's business model relies on its search engine Google running advertisements, this is what made them rich, Kennedy posed a threat to the profits of the company. In an added twist, Alphabet itself participates in the pharmaceutical business. For instance, it is a major investor in vaccines. So Alphabet was simultaneously making money from pharmaceutical ventures while preventing criticisms against them. This behavior obviously confounds attempts of the general public to find unbiased information and pursue truth. At this point, it is important for me to acknowledge that Alphabet is not the only technology company exerting vast influence on society. We will look at Facebook next.